Hi there, I'm Vinnie Cilurzo, Russian River Brewing Company, and we're super psyched to be a part of the Beer Advocate Virtual IPA Festival. I'm here at our Windsor Brewery with my beautiful 75-barrel brew house behind me. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about double dry hop Pliny the Elder, which was our contribution to the virtual IPA mix pack. So we've been making Pliny the Elder, the regular version of it, since 1999. But earlier this year, we decided to up the ante on the beer and really bring up the hop aroma and flavor by doubling the dry hop load of it. So regular Pliny the Elder is 2 pounds per barrel. And here with DDH Pliny the Elder, we're up to 4 pounds per barrel. One of the things I love about the DDH is the bitterness ends up being just a little bit softer compared to regular Pliny the Elder. Also, the flavor and the aroma is a lot more unctuous. It's got a much larger, bigger, explosive aroma profile. And where regular Pliny the Elder kind of goes more towards grapefruit and pine and a little bit of dank pungentness, DDH Pliny the Elder really has more like stone fruit, and so for regular Pliny the Elder, it seems like the Simcoe hop really kind of blasts through more so as compared to the DDH, which has more stone fruit, and that's typically more associated with the Amarillo hop. But you still get a lot of that beautiful pine and grapefruit and a little bit of pungent note from the CTZ hops as well. So I'd like to walk you through the brew house here. So again, as I mentioned before, our brew house here is a 75 barrel brew house. We bought this from Zeman over in Germany. So this is a fully automated brew house, computer controlled, pretty cool operation. The first vessel that I'm going to show you is our mash tun over here. So the mash tun right now has a batch of Pliny the Elder in it. And so what you see when you look inside the mash tun is about 4,000 pounds of malt. And so it's been mixing in there with hot water, and that's going through its enzymatic reaction where the starches are being converted to sugar, and it's those sugars that we're eventually going to extract, and that's going to eventually become the wort that we boil and then eventually ferment. Right now the lauter tun is empty because the batch just got moved out of here, but in a minute the batch you just saw in the mash tun will get pumped inside the lauter tun where we will separate the malt from the wort or the liquid. And what we do from there is we'll run that hot wort, the unfermented beer, off the bottom of the lauter tun and send it over to the kettle. So here we have another batch of Pliny that's already brewing, and this is the second batch of the day. The batch you saw in the mash tun is the third batch of the day, and there'll be one more batch tonight that our brewing team will make. So the first batch we made this morning is already in the fermenter with the yeast added. So it's here in the kettle where we're going to add the bittering hops, as well as mid-boil hops, which add a lot of flavor and to an extent some aroma, but mostly bitterness and flavor. You know, in this day and age of IPAs, it seems like everyone is going towards a softer, less bitter beer. One of the things I'm most proud of with Pliny the Elder and DDH is the fact that it has a firm bitterness, and I personally love a firm bitterness in my beer. Quite honestly, I think there's an assault on bitterness. I hear consumers and some brewers talk about liking a less bitter beer, but to me, a beer that's lacking bitterness lacks snappiness and lacks a lot of strong flavor profile. And you know, to me, bitterness just leaves you wanting to come back to drink more beer. And the last two vessels I'm going to show you is the whirlpool, which is the big vessel behind me. And then we've got our hop back here. And the hop back's really what I want to focus on for the next couple minutes. So our brewing process changed when we opened our new brewery here in Windsor. So in the old days at our old production brewery, we would boil the wort, and then we would pump the wort over to the whirlpool. And it was in the whirlpool that we made the final hop addition to get a lot of aroma and flavor. Now we've switched from using pellet hops in the whirlpool to using almost all whole cone hops like you see here in these trash cans in the hop back. And what the difference is when you add the pelletized hops to the whirlpool, a lot of times those pellets are going to sit in the wort, the hot wort that's at least 180 degrees and sometimes up to 200 degrees or even warmer. And as those pellets sit in the wort, you're going to actually keep extracting a lot of the bitterness out of the hops, or it's going to be isomerized and you're going to get more bitterness. And all the while those pellets are sitting in the whirlpool at a quite warm temperature, and all those super delicate volatile hop oils that are in these hops in pellet format are actually volatilizing off and blowing off with the steam. So what we did when I designed this brew house was I decided and opted to put a hop back in. So what the hop back is it's basically like a lauter tun. It's got screens on the side, and then there is an opening on the bottom so that we can discharge the hops. I should also mention that we're standing over a 16-foot basement below us, so all the guts and operations of our brew house are below us. So once we are done boiling the wort, we're going to pump that hot wort to the whirlpool. It will pump in centrifugally, spin in a circle, and that's actually going to send all the spent hop pellets from the kettle boil and any sediment and trub from the boiling process to the center of the whirlpool vessel. And mind you, we haven't added any hops yet to the whirlpool. So then we take the wort, we pump it out of the whirlpool, run it over the top of the hops in the hop back, so all these trash can fulls of hops will be added into the hop back. And now that hot wort will pump over the top of these hops, these fresh whole cone hops, and then the wort instantly exits the bottom of the vessel, goes to a pump, and then from there we pump it to the wort cooler. So we cool that wort down from 180 to 200 degrees down to about 64 degrees Fahrenheit. And this happens really fast. And what we're trying to do here is we're trying to extract these super delicate, volatile hop oils out of the whole cone hops, get it into the wort, but we don't want it to volatilize off, and so we instantly cool it down. So by doing that, we lock in those super delicate aromas from the hops in the wort, and then from there the wort gets pumped on to the fermentation vessel where yeast gets added. So this is something you don't see at a lot of breweries. You don't see a lot of whole cone hops being used, but there's something very traditional about using whole cone hops, and we were able to gain a lot more aromatics from these hops in the whole cone format in the hop back because of the process where the wort, the hot wort, the unfermented beer is not sitting on the pellet hops anymore in the whirlpool. We're actually adding them to the hop back. So that's one of the ways that DDH is given such an immense hop flavor. We also double dry hop it. It's in the name DDH. So at the fermenter, we'll make the first dry hop addition 3 days into the middle of fermentation. And in doing so, we're also getting a little bit of biotransformation where the yeast is interacting, an enzyme in the yeast is actually interacting with the dry hops themselves to get a little bit of a different hop aroma. It's a little more of a blast of hops compared to making a conventional dry hop later on after fermentation is done. And then we'll make the second dry hop 3 days later towards the end of fermentation. And then from there, the beer just carries out and finishes out with its process. Again, regular Pliny the Elder is 2 pounds per barrel. With DDH, we're at 4 pounds per barrel, and we're doing it over 2 stages. I hope you enjoyed our time here at our brew house here in Windsor at Russian River Brewing Company. Again, thanks to Beer Advocate for inviting us to be a part of this festival. It was a real honor, and appreciate everyone's support. Cheers.